Krishna. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarini. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्णा. वेलकम एवरीवन. हरे कृष्णा.
हरे कृष्णा.
हरे कृष्णा. हरे कृष्णा. हरे कृष्णा. हरे कृष्णा. हरे कृष्णा. हरे कृष्णा
माता जी.
हरे कृष्णा. हरे कृष्णा. हरे कृष्णा.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी.
हरे कृष्णा. One second. Okay. My screen is visible.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So, Hare Krishna, everyone. So, welcome to the day, chapter 2. Today is chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. So, this is also called a summary of Gita because Krishna is going to tell the complete, whatever is going to be covered in the 18 days, we are going to have the complete summary in this chapter. So, very important chapter. And whatever we are going to have from the chapter 3 is like a elaborating on the same topics. So let's go into the chapter. Let's take obeisances of Radha Govind. It is ISKCON Mangaluru. And all the teachings are based on the teachings of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON founder Acharya. So, summary of the chapter: Krishna's solution to Arjuna's objection. So yesterday we saw like there were 5 reasons which Arjuna gives that he cannot fight. So Krishna is going to answer all of them in this chapter. So compassion says we are not body, no enjoyment, heaven or kingdom, fear of sinful activities, devotional activity, no sin, destruction of family tradition, be a role model to prevent Varna Shankara, indecision, serve the Lord with firm determination. So can anyone type in the chat, what are the 5 reasons which Arjuna gave for not fighting? So you can post in the chat. Yeah, so love for brothers, can you, it is compassion, right? Yes, Bharat. Yes, Aparna Shahai says no joy. Yes, that is no enjoyment. Yes, Manasa, right? No enjoyment. Compassion. Yeah, Shailaja. Sin. Yes. And Yes, Navaruna says he cannot fight against his family. Yes, that is family tradition. He says yes. Ravi Kumar, fear of committing sin, destroying family tradition. Yes. Yes, indecisiveness. Yes, these are the 5 reasons. So compassion, no enjoyment, sin, family tradition, indecision. So these are the 5 reasons Arjuna gives, and let's see what Krishna is going to answer. So Arjuna was asked to fight with his own guru and grandfather. Has anybody in history has made sacrifice like that? So you can type your answers in Zoom chat. So do you know anyone who has made sacrifice earlier like that of Arjuna? So in Vedic, in our Vedic scripture, there are many instances as like that. So you can just post your comments. No? Yeah, Parashuram kills us. And yes, Sugriv, yes, right. No, okay. There are mixed answers. So let's see. Sorry. So there are this is not something new. So sacrifice. So there is many instances where people have great men have done sacrifice for Krishna, like father and son, like Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad, his father Hiranyakashipu was a he was enemy. I mean, he was a enemy of Lord Vishnu. But Prahlad Maharaj, he sacrifices his father for Vishnu. And Haryashvas and Bahulashvas, they are sons of Daksha. They, like Daksha, wanted them to populate the world. So he had 10,000 sons, but all of them, like Narada Muni, gives them the preaching, and everybody becomes they don't agree to their father to take a Gruhastha life. They all become brahmacharis. So that is another instance where they sacrifice their father. And then Chatush Kumaras, that are 4 sons of Lord Brahma. Like Lord Brahma also wanted them to populate the planet, but these 4 Kumaras, they were so elevated, they reject. So they always eternally they remained like Kumaras. And then older brother, younger brother, like Ravan and Vibhishana, like somebody answered in the chat. Yes, Vibhishana, he was supposed to, uh, obey the orders. Like he has to follow the instruction of Ravana because he was in his kingdom and he was his own brother. But he fought against him and he took the shelter of Lord Ram. And then priest and host, that is Shukracharya and Bali Maharaj, where when Vamana, the Lord Vishnu comes as a Vamana, he um, Shukracharya warns him that he is not an ordinary boy. Please, he asked like where he can keep his foot. Then Bali Maharaj, knowing that, uh, he didn't care. He was fine. He says that if it is Lord wants, then I'm more pleased. I will consider myself more fortunate. And knowingly he surrenders to Lord. And husband and wife, Yagnik Brahman Patni. So this is a story in Bhagavatam where the Brahmins, they like when Lord Balram and Lord Krishna comes and ask for food. So these Brahmins are so religious, they don't understand that the Lord has come himself. They reject them the bhog. But the wives, without knowing to their husbands, they serve the Lord. Like in those days, if the wife does not obey husband orders, then they'll be rejected by husband. But they didn't care for it because they knew that uh, the highest is the sacrifice for the Lord. And then there are many instances like many people have left their families. They have taken the renounced order of life, like Bharat Maharaj and Raghunath Das Goswami. So he's He's one of our acharya, comes in Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. So his father had he used to be so rich, like in those days, around 500 years back, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also was there. So he used to pay 12 lakh gold coins a year as a tax. So he renounced for Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya himself, when he was just 24 years, he took sannyas. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, that we will know, that is mentioned in many scriptures. We will be knowing in that in future classes. We will show that. And Lakshmana, Bharata, and also Prabhupada. So Prabhupada also, he left his family life for propagating the Krishna consciousness. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anaryajustam Asvargam Akirtikaram Arjuna. So the Supreme Personality of God said, "My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets but to infamy." So we saw that Krishna, by giving all reasons, Arjuna puts it bow and arrow down, and he says that I cannot fight. I mean, I am in confusion, Krishna. I cannot fight. So Krishna is asking, like, what happened to you? What, like, this is not a person of value. Does like at you, this does not lead you to either higher planets nor but to infamy. So this is Arjuna's surrender. Sorry. So Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna here. This is a turning point of Bhagavad Gita, we can say. Karpanya dosho pahata svabhavaha pruchami tvam dharma sammuda chetaha yachreyasya nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct. So, sorry. So, so here, Arjuna is in complete, I mean, he's surrendering. So, Karpanya dosha. Karpanya means like miserly weakness. Pahata swabhavaha Pruchamitvam, like Dharma Sammuda Cheta means I am confused in my duty. I am not knowing what to be done and what not to be done. So, what is best for me, Krishna? Kindly advise. Shishyasteham Shadimam Mam Tvam Prapannam. So, now actually in the chapter 1, he was like in a Sakya Bhava. But here he has come to the like a disciple. So he's taking he's as a disciple, he's surrendering to the Lord. So what is a miser? Like Karpanya dosha means somebody who don't know, like who does not know the value of life. So he is called as a miser. So whom do we call a miser? Who has a lot of money, but he does not spend where it is needed. So similarly, it is like when we have a human form of life. So if that is not utilized properly, and that then we are called misers. So and then like it is said, there are 4 things common, right, in human beings and animals. What are those? Like eating, mating, mating, and
sleeping and defending.
Yeah, sleeping and defending. Yeah, thank you. So I mean all those things, like eating is done by we also eat, and animals also eat, maybe like in a grand way we eat. And sleeping is also, we cannot compare ourselves on like with animals also, like they sleep even more, like the polar bears and all, they sleep for 6 months also. And defending means savings. Even the animals save for their children, like how we save, even they do save. The tigers also save for their children. And then the mating, that is having children. So even this is also done by animals. So if we are also doing the same four things, then there is no, it is said that in as per Shastras, there is no difference between the man and animal. So the why the human life is given to us for knowing, for knowing the relationship between us and God. So these things of self-realization we need to uh, uh, understand. And then how do we understand? What is the mood required to understand Bhagavad Gita? So basically, we also, like with so much of humility, like how Arjuna is, he is a great warrior, right? Arjuna, but still he's so humble and he surrenders to the Lord, and he asks, he's not like he's not afraid, he's not ashamed to say that he is in confusion, though he's a great warrior. He says that I am in confusion, please guide. So whenever we are in a problem, like when especially related to our
30.4
lives, we are not able to make
30.450 grade.
can you please mute? Yes. So we need to approach the our spiritual master, right? So because Guru knows everything, it is said, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Because they know the truth, they are able to guide us. So we have to humbly, with the humility, one has to surrender to the Guru. And there is six steps in surrender. So it is said that anukulasya sankalpaha, do what is favorable for the Lord Krishna, and then pratikulasya varjanam, that is we have to reject whatever is not favorable to the Lord. And then rakshishyatiti vishwaso, that means strong faith that Krishna will protect me. And then Goptritve Varnanam Tata means having a gratitude and having gratitude towards the Lord for everything. And then Atma Nikshepa Karpanye Shadvida Sharanagati. That is Atma Nikshepa Karpanye means self surrender. Complete surrender. Complete surrender and with humility. So these are the six steps of surrender. So here we can these things we can learn from Arjun. So how can we similarly surrender to Krishna in our lives? So you can post your answers in chat. How can we surrender? Like, okay, Nitya says, like that of Arjun, surrender to attain knowledge about life and attachment. Yes. Yes, anybody can tell like a very simple way of surrender. How can we surrender to the Lord? Leave results to God. Yes, says Bharat Sharma. Kiran Paitali says Bhakti. Yes. iPhone, unconditional faith. Yes, we have faith, but how do you express it? Surrender all fruits of action. Yes. Be kind to creation. Krishna has given manual Gita to follow and surrender to Lord. Yes, Ravi Kumar. Yes, Prabhu. Shailaja, by chanting. Yes, very nice answer. So chanting is the first surrender. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So with chanting, so surrender starts with chanting. So when we chant, it is like we are dependent on Lord for everything, right? So there are many instances in the past where this is Gajendra. So Gajendra, when he was in when he was in problem, so he offered prayers to the Lord, and the Lord appeared, and also he liberated. So there is instances where Brahma also has surrendered. So the great personalities have surrendered to Lord, like Prahlad Maharaj surrendered to Narsimhadev, and Lord Hanuman surrendered to Lord Ram. So how does Lord Krishna show us how to become a good teacher? So can you type this in chat? Um, yes, how Lord Krishna show us how to become a good teacher. So we can see the qualities of a good teacher here by guiding in the right path. Supriya says, yes, to make Bharat Sharma, to make one, sorry, to make one realize what is good and bad. Yes, yes, Krishna does that. And one who gives direction, yes, he clearly defines what is good for us and what to do, Ravi Kumar. Yes, yes, we will see, we will analyze now. So this shloka, Tamuvacha Rishikeshaha प्रहसन्निव भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये विषीदन्तमिदं वचः. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. So this is the first lesson Krishna is giving, because he prahasan, he's smiling. Can you imagine? Like it is the day when the war has to start, and there are like crores of people standing there, and even in the enemy side, and somebody is telling that I cannot fight, and Krishna is smiling. I mean, how is that possible? Like, so he is giving a great lesson here, that one should not, I mean, you cannot correct someone by scolding. He is smiling. Krishna is not scolding, but he is smiling. श्रीभगवानुवाच अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाषसे गतासु न गतासूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पंडिताः. The blessed Lord said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for living nor the dead. So this is the second lesson where Krishna says, I mean, how mildly we can understand that he is giving advice. So Krishna is not, I mean, he is giving but correcting in a very soft manner. Pragna Vadamsta Bhasha. You are Arjuna, you are speaking like a learned man, but what is your action? Because he speaks like, I cannot, I'll get sin. I mean, we need to be compassionate. We cannot kill the my own family, and these are all like a learned man. But then he is asking, those who are wise lament neither for living nor the dead. That is, you should not they, I mean, because why? Because we are not a body, but we are a soul. So then why are you lamenting? So Krishna answers, this is for the compassion. That, and Lord Krishna, so in the first chapter, Krishna never opened his mouth. He was very silent. So what we can learn from this? So because there was no surrender, right? Arjuna had not surrendered. So he never spoke a word. So what we can learn from this, we go and give advices to everyone even before they ask for it, right? So we shouldn't do that. So unless somebody approaches us, or if there is no respect, then there one should not speak. So only when somebody is having that surrendering like bhav, then only one has to give. And also this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, you can't just go and tell any stranger, because they're not ready to accept. So only when the other person is ready to accept, then only we can give the knowledge. So gives knowledge of Gita only when Arjuna is ready and surrenders. Smiles, no anger at Arjuna. So even in that time, like Krishna didn't get anger, he is smiling. Bend out but not break. So he is not at all discouraging Arjuna. He's trying to mold him, and he's making him understand what is wrong and what is right. Answer all question in short immediately. So Krishna answers all the questions, all the confusions that Arjuna has in the immediately in the chapter 2. We see that he answers everything. Not that like we need to Arjuna was supposed to wait for 18 days. It's not like he'll tell it at a later date, but he clarifies all the doubts immediately, and keep encouraging Arjuna. So how does he encourage? So by calling Arjuna as Mahabahu, Parantapa, and like encouraging words. So that should be the nature of teacher. He should be always encouraging the students. So give Arjuna choice. So do as you like, no force. So when all the Bhagavad Gita, all the knowledge is given, at the end of 18th chapter, Krishna says Arjuna that Yata ichchasi tata kuru. That is, do as you like. And Arjuna also accept that Karishye vachanam tava. He says, that is, I do whatever you have told, I am going to follow. So we have to be in footsteps of Arjuna. So whenever Lord Krishna speak, Bhagavad Gita says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Why not Krishna Uvacha? Can you post your answers, please? Yes, why in like in whole of Bhagavad Gita, Vedavyasa, whenever he addressed Sanjaya, he says Sanjaya Uvacha and Dhritarashtra Uvacha. But why not Krishna Uvacha? Why does he say Sri Bhagavan Uvacha? Why do you think? He was Lord. Yes, Krishna was Lord, supreme. Yeah, Kiran says supreme of Godhead. Yes, BJ, he is the supreme Lord. Manasa, because he is supreme Lord. Mahika, he is the absolute truth. Yes, he took Vishwarupam. Nitya. Supriya says Krishna is himself the Lord. Yes. So Krishna is the Lord himself. So that is why he has been called as Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. I mean Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. And let's understand the different aspects of the Lord. So they like, how do we understand? Then why do we not understand he is God, right? Why do we not understand? Because we don't have that perfect senses. We are conditioned souls, and we have the 4 defects. So anybody knows the 4 defects? You can type in the chat. So 4 defects that a conditioned soul have. Because the soul is contact with the material nature, we have 4 defects. You can just type. We are under Maya, yes. Illusion, jealous, false ego. Yes, tendency to cheat. Okay. Yes, right answer, Praveena. Birth, death, old, no. Kam, Krodh, Moh, Vashna. Not that one. Okay. Okay. So what are the 4 defects? Our senses are imperfect. Okay. Like even in the material world, we cannot see something which is it is 200 meters away, or maybe if it is a 1 kilometer away, we cannot see. Not even that. We cannot see what is happening in the next room itself, right? So our senses are not perfect, and with that imperfect senses, we cannot see the Lord. So how do we understand the Lord? So we have to understand the Lord with the Shruti Praman, that is from the Shastras. And that is, first is imperfect senses, and we have tendency to cheat, and we are illusioned by Maya, and we make mistakes. So with these 4 defects, a conditioned soul can never understand the Lord. So we can understand this with an example. Like we see from far, we can just see that there is a mountain, and then when we go near, we can see that there are trees, and further when we go near, we can see that there is also a bird which is eating fruit, right? So how do we understand these aspects of absolute truth? So there are 3 stage of God realization. So first is Brahman. Brahman is like Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So Brahman is a light. So most of the people, more than 95% people think that God is energy, is a light. So can you post your answers? What do you think? Is it like God is an energy, or he's a person? Please post your answers in the chat. Is God an energy or a person? Okay, Dr. Uttam Nitya says energy. Supriya says energy. Praveena says person, energy. Mahika, he's both energy. Yes, nice, Mahika. He is actually both. Okay, Krishna, this effulgence, this is Brahman, is nothing but effulgence of the Lord. Okay, it is coming from Lord's body. So it is actually, it is a first stage in self-realization. So Brahman is the first stage in self-realization. And what is the next? So Krishna is also as Paramatma in our hearts. So he's in a four-handed form. So Shankha Chakra, Gada Padma. So he is in this, in the four-handed form, and he is there in our heart as Paramatma. So as a Paramatma, he knows all our lives, not just one life. How much our life we have taken, millions of lives. So he knows everything. In what life, what did we do? Everything, he is there as Paramatma in our heart, and he's seeing us, whatever we do. And the final realization, the highest, is the Bhagavan realization. So as a Bhagavan, Krishna's two-handed form, that is the highest realization. So what does the Shastra say about Bhagavan? Who is Bhagavan? So Bhaga in Sanskrit means opulence. Van means one who possesses. So one who possesses all opulences is called as Bhagavan. So in Vishnu Puran, Parashara Muni, who is a father of Vedavyasa, he has defined Bhagavan as Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Virasya Yashashaha Shriya Gnana Vairagyascha Chaiva Sannambhaga Vitingana. That is, one who is opulent, like in all beauty. He's the Lord Krishna is defined as all beauty, all rich, all famous, all strength, all knowledge, and all renunciation. So in beauty, no one can beat Krishna. So it is in Brahma Samhita, it is Kandarpakotikam Aniya Vishesha Shobham, like his beauty is compared to even the millions of cupids cannot match Krishna's beauty, it is said. And it is the prayer of Brahma in Brahma Samhita. So, and Krishna, Akarshati iti Krishna. So it is said that he is all attractive and rich. So Krishna is so rich. He is owner of multiple universe, right? And he when he married 16,000 wives, so he made the house of like gems, and for each wife, not that like one house he made all the 16,000 wives were there in one house. No, he made separate palaces for each of them. So he's the richest, and he's all famous. So Krishna, like we have seen people famous, like there can be like Mahatma Gandhi was famous one time, and now Modi is famous. But then people will forget after many years. We don't even even if we think of our ancestors, like, right, in no, like just our grandfather, great grandfather, we don't even know the proper names also. If we go like 3-4 generation back, we don't even remember them, and we also won't be remembered. But Krishna is so famous. He is not just famous in this universe, but also in all the universe. And still today, when Bhagavad Gita was told 5,000 years back, but still now we are discussing, and we discuss about all the pastimes of the Lord, because he is so famous. And the strength, no one can beat Krishna in strength, because Krishna, when he was an infant, he killed Putana. And then when he lifted Govardhan Parvat, which was 25 kilometer long, I mean, the width of the mountain was 25 kilometer, it is said to be. And also the height also was the same. But he lifted it for 7 days and 7 nights, and that too with a little finger. So we can estimate how much strength the Lord had. And the knowledge. So the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gave in 45 minutes, just 45 minutes. And we need a lifetime to understand the knowledge, right? So he's all knowledge. And renunciation. So renunciation, when Krishna, 13 years, he was in Vrindavan and he had to leave to Mathura. But he was not crying, but all gopis and his parents, everybody, Yashodama, and everybody were crying, and they were. But Krishna, he was not. He was fully renunciated, so he was not much bothered. And also not just that, he has created so many. I mean, this material world, but he is not attached to it. So every day of Brahma, Brahma, he creates the world, and a day of Brahma, during the night, this world get annihilated. So Krishna is not attached. So this is Brahman, Paramatma, and this is Bhagavan. So Krishna has a form. He is a person, just like us. Krishna is a person. So otherwise, how can he reciprocate to his devotees, right? If he is not a person, it is not possible to reciprocate. So answer to Arjuna's question 1, that is for compassion, what he says. So, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by any such change. So, Dehinosmin yatha dehe. So the soul, I mean, there are like 6 stages. What happens? Like our soul enters the mother's womb and then grows. It takes, it stays for some time and it gives some effects. Effects means it reproduces. Some reproduces done, and then it gets old, and one day it dies. So this is the stage. Like every soul goes through this. So what is Krishna saying? The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such change. So anyway, why are you crying that you have to kill your family people? Because anyways they are going to die. So and it is just that their body is going to get slayed and not the soul. So it is said, like in the Kurukshetra, when the war was taking place, the Arjuna and Krishna were almost like 90 years. Okay, but it is nowhere in we can see that Krishna being portrayed as old person or anything, because he always looked like 16-year boy, right? Arjuna also looked young, but Krishna looked like a 16-year-old boy, because Krishna's body is transcendental, not like us. It is not a material body like us. So then who am I? Am I this body? You can post your again, you can post in the chat. Are we this body? So whatever we see here, I have, I look. So am I this? Am I this hair, eye, mouth, hand? I have all these organs. Am I this body? No, we are souls. We are souls. Soul, not body. Dr. Uttam, Mahika, we are spirit souls. Yes. Manasa, I am souls. Okay. We are spirit. Oh, you all already know it. Okay. So okay. So let's understand. So this is a gross body. We are made of gross. This is a gross body which has earth, water, fire, ether, and sky, air. That is sky or ether. So this is a outer body is made of, and then we have a subtle, which is mind, intelligence, and ego, and then comes the soul. So this is the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita. We are not this body, but we are spirit souls. So we can understand with the car and the driver. So when a car needs a driver, right? So there is a driver. So similarly, the soul, the body is like a car. And who is the driver? The soul is the driver of the car. So where does the soul in our body? So it is in our heart. Yes, it's in heart. And where is the Paramatma? Somebody can chat, put in the chat box. Where is Paramatma in our body? Which part of the body is Paramatma? Is sitting? Top chakra. Oh, yes, heart. No, in heart. Okay, it's not between eyebrows. Okay, Krishna is in the heart. Okay, he is Paramatma as in heart. So Krishna says, in Bhagavad Gita, I mean, in 2 places, Krishna says that I stay in heart. So anybody knows the shloka? can raise your hand. If you know the shloka, please raise the hand. Where Krishna says that I am in heart. No one knows? Mahika, do you know? No one knows? Sarvasya chaham okay. Hृदि sannivishto matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. Sarvasya chaham hृदि sannivishto. He says, I am in the heart. Yes, Kiran. Sorry. Yes, kindly unmute, Kiran.
Yeah. Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishto matasmriti jnanam apohanam cha vedanta sarve rahameva vedyo
Vedanta Krit.
vedanta krut davideva deva.
Yeah, very nice. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, and yes, Praveena Manoj, very nice. Ishvara sarva bhutanam ruddeshur janatishchati. So I am in heart of everyone. So Krishna has told in 2 places that I am in the heart. Can the soul be destroyed? Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor can be burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by wind. So, anybody knows what is the size of the soul? So, the soul is so minute. Okay, it is said. Anybody knows? You can post your. But whoever has already attended, don't answer. Yes, 1 by 10,000. Yes, it is 1 by 10,000 part of the tip of the hair. Okay, so we can't even imagine how small it is, because we have not come across such a small thing, right? So even the microscope also cannot make out. So it is such a small thing. Like a tip of a hair is itself is so small. In that, if you make it into 10,000 part, and that one part is the soul. So such a small thing. So no scientist also have found out that there is something called soul. So they think that this body is made of just chemicals. Are we just these chemicals? Are our body just chemicals? No, right? We are not just chemicals. So we are spirit souls. And what it is said here, it cannot be cut by any weapon. No weapon can cut, nor can be burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by wind. So this is a story of Chitraketu Maharaj. So what happens? They were like, once there was a king, Chitraketu. So he had 10 million wives, but unfortunately he didn't have a kid. So then he was very sad. So once a sage Angira, he visits him, and he does he does seva to him, and the sage was completely pleased. But he sees that this king is not happy. Then he asks him what was the reason for his unhappiness. Then he says that he don't have progeny. Then he blesses him with a kid, and then his one of his wife gets the kid, and what happens, he gets it, but while the sage tells him that that boy is going to be a reason for your happiness and lamentation, but he doesn't understand why lamentation, but still he thinks, okay, let it be, but first I am getting the kid, that is most important. But then what happens, when the kid is born, he becomes very attached to it, and he started give more preference that to that wife, and he neglects all the other wives. So all the other wives get very envious, and what they do, one day they give poison to the kid, and the kid dies. So now the Chitraketu Maharaj was in a shock, and he was like completely shattered. So he, after a long time, he had one kid and he died, and he was lamenting. And then there comes Lord Narada. Narada Maharshi comes. Narada Maharshi comes, and then he asks why is he lamenting for, and then he says the reason. And then by seeing his lamentation, Narada Muni brings back the soul to that body. And then suddenly the boy gets up and he says, "So why did you call me here? So who called me here?" Then he says, "Oh, my son," like he hugs him and he says, "I am your father." Then the kid asks, like, "Which father? I don't know. Like, which your father in which life? I had so many lives. So I was happy. Why did you call me? I was enjoying my life. Why did you call me?" So this is a story. We will share this. You can just I mean, later he allows the kid to again go back to the his another life, because he has already finished his karma, whatever was supposed to be there. Like, if the god has decided whatever is his fate, so he cannot change that. So this shows that there is reincarnation, right? I mean, there are many people also, even there are many there is one scientist has also done research on 2000 cases where the people have they remember their past lives. So there are many instances like that. So there is reincarnation. So if we are just body, then there cannot be a reincarnation, right? Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkha agamapayino nitya stamstitikshasva bharata. So so Krishna is telling that here our happiness and distress are compared to the seasons. So seasons come, right? Once there are different seasons come. We have here in India, like we have summer, autumn, summer, winter, and rainy, like that. So here we can spring and autumn, they call it in other places, right? So it is just like that. So there is a saying, right? This too shall pass. So whatever we have, if it is, how can I be not reacting to any situation? How can be I'm same in all situations? So then there is a saying, this too shall pass. So when you're very happy, you should not become very proud, because that is also not going to stay for a long time. And when you are very sad or you are in a depressed mood, then also, if that saying, when you remember this shall pass, then we are not depressed, because we know that is also not permanent. So Krishna also is saying here that this happiness and distress is just like a season. So Krishna says, "O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed." So Krishna is the creator of this world. He is telling us how we have to live in this world, right? We have to understand from the Lord how we cannot, I mean, we can, like, if there is a if we have to figure it out on our own, then it is very difficult. Like, even for a manual, if we have something like, I have taken a mobile and I don't know how to operate, or if a computer, there is a issue with my computer. So then whatever is there in the, like, if something not to be done, we are not supposed to do it. And if I'm not following that, then that that appliance or whatever it is, we are not able to use to the highest. We cannot use. So if the human life has to be used for the proper way, then we have to take the guidance from the Lord. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nitya shashvatam toyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. For soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He is unborn, eternal, and everlasting. So Krishna is called as Sachidananda Vigraha. That is, Sat means eternal, Chit means full of knowledge, Ananda is bliss. So we are also part and parcel of Krishna. So we are also, the soul is also, so though minute, it is in the quality, we are also same like Krishna, Sachidananda, but only thing is the quantity is different. So Krishna is like, we are Anu, Krishna is Vibhu. Pasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinnati naroparani tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sayyati navani dehi. As a person puts new new garments, giving up the old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material body, giving up the old and useless ones. So just like how we when the cloth has become old and useless, we throw it and we take the new cloth. Similarly, what the soul does when a body has become old and we can of useless, it is of no use. So then the soul decides to leave the body and take a new one. So there is a story of one old lady. She had a parrot. She had a beautiful cage built for the parrot. So what she does every day, she used to paint paint with different colors. Every day she used to decorate the cage, but she forgot to feed the parrot, right? So we feel, but what will happen if every day she's very happy to see the cage being decorated, but she is not worried? What will happen to the parrot? Will it say how many days it can live? It will die, right? It will die in some days. I mean, maybe 4 days, or maybe a maximum 1 week it will stay and it will die. So by in this story, what do you think? Is she very clever, or what do you think of this old lady? Is she stupid? What do you think of this old lady? You can post in comment box. Hare Krishna. You can post your comments. What do you think? Is she doing the right thing? She's stupid, unwise, right? So here we have to compare ourselves to this lady, right? So what are we doing? So we are attached more to our body and mind, and we are like, people are mainly concentrated. We most of the time, why are people working so hard? So we are working day and night to satisfy our bodily needs. Do we really have to work so hard? So it is said like we have to bifurcate our time like 8 by 8 by 8. That is 8 hours for body. Okay, 6 hours you take bath, and then 2 hours for refreshing, and 6 hours, sorry, 6 hours is for sleep, and then in 2 hours we bath and the other things. So 8 hours for body, 8 hours for mind. We have to work, right? For livelihood in Kali Yuga, we have to go and work, so there's no option. So we have to work, and then another 8 hours is we have to keep for the soul. So this bird is nothing but the soul here in this story. So this, we are not feeding at all the soul. So how can we feed this? So when there is no food for the soul, what will happen? Why are we not happy? Why are we not happy? Because we are not feeding the soul. So what is the food for the soul? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I'll unmute you all. You can say together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare
Yes.
Hare
Once more.
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama
Hare Rama,
Hare Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare
So this is
Hare
the food for
Krishna Hare
soul. Yes. So this is a reason why we are chanting, right? This is actually connecting. When we chant Hare Krishna, it is actually, this is a divine mantra, and it is connecting directly to the Lord. So that is why we need to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is answer to where Arjuna says that there is no enjoyment. Hato va prapsasi swargyam jitva bhungshyase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya kritanischayaha. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planet, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up and fight with determination. So, Krishna is telling, why are you lamenting, Arjuna? If you die in the war field, you are going to heaven. So, it is said, like in heaven, you can enjoy 10,000 times more than here, because the senses are more stronger there. You have more enjoyment. And if you win the war, then you will be owner of the complete world, like for the because until Maharaj Parikshit, the world was under one king. So later only the division came, because that is the reason everybody belonged to one dharma, one Sanatana dharma. Later only, like 2000 years back and 5000 years back, the other religions came up. Otherwise, there was only one dharma. So, avachyavadamsta bahun vadishyanti tavahitaha nindantastava samartyam tato dukkataram nukin. So Krishna is answering now. He's telling like, I'll be like, he gives the reason as family tradition. So Krishna is telling, your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? So, hey, your enemies like Duryodhana or Karna, what will they tell? So, oh, he's a coward. Arjuna ran away from the war field. So they will, what will be more painful? Because for a Kshatriya, the shame is equal to death. So Krishna is telling him. So are you going to be a role model like this? So people will be quoting you for bad examples. So this is for, he says, I'll get sin. So for that, Krishna answers, नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So Krishna says that in devotion, there is no sin, because Hanuman burned the whole Lanka, right? So that is that if materially we see, it is a sinful act. But then Krishna, Lord Ram, Lord Hanuman is glorified, though because he did for the Lord. So whatever is done for Krishna, and when while building the, when Rama was building the bridge, a small squirrel also helped the Ram, and he also got liberated. So there is no what to say, there is no sin when something we do for the Lord. यावनर्थौदपाने सर्वतः सम्प्लुतोदके तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः. All purpose served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all purpose of Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. So we, like it is said, even in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Bharata Bhumile Janma Hoile Janma Sartaka Kare Fir Karo Paropakar. Like if you're taken birth in Bharata Bhumi, that is in India, first make your life successful and then think about making the life of others successful. So we have, like as a parents, first we need to be right, instead of we are involved in the so many other things and philanthropic works and all that. But if we are not setting a good example for our own children, then what can the children follow? Because children usually does not follow on what we tell them, but they just see and observe and follow, right? Children usually, and like if you're telling the child don't use mobile, and then we are using the mobile all the time, he will never listen, because he will not listen on what we sell, but what we behave, right? And all purpose are like it's, this shloka says that the purpose of Veda, like what is the, in Vedas, it is 90%. It is like you do this work, you will go to, I mean, you will get this. Like if you have to get a good wife, you have to do some a special puja, or we have to go to higher planets. There is particular thing. So different things. These are all like the, but they are not the highest. But highest is what Krishna says. Vedaishcha chaham ahameva Vedaha. So that is, he is Krishna to be understood. The highest purpose of all Vedas is to understand the Lord. If that is understood, then it is just like watering the roots. So when you are watering the roots of a tree, you need not water separately the leaves, right? Similarly, one who understands the Krishna is the ultimate source, then there is no, for him, everything is understood. He need not study any Vedas. Vyavasayatmika, so this is for indecisiveness. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi yekeha kuru nandana Bahushaka hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasainam. Those who are on the path of on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So when a person is fixed in Krishna consciousness or he is surrendered to a guru, so that person, he is having only, I mean, he is very clear on what is his goal. He is not like, because he is not depending on his own mind and intelligence, he is taking the advice of the spiritual master. So here, when you all may be knowing this instance where Dronacharya once asked all his students, like they have to aim like one bird, like it was made of some metal, it was kept in the tree and they were asked to aim at the eye of the bird. So everybody were when Dronacharya asked, what can you see? Everybody said, I can see mountain, and some said, I can see tree or tree branch, like that. But when it was asked for Arjuna, Arjuna said, I can see only the eye of the bird. That was his focus and determination. Like he was so determined. So that should be like Vyavasayika Mika Buddhi, means they are not, there is no duality. They are fixed in God consciousness. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atmanyevatmana tushtaha stita pragnat taduchyate. So how does a self-realized person look like? So Krishna says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be pure in pure transcendental consciousness. So when one can attain the self satisfaction, one can be satisfied in oneself, because we are now driven by our senses. So until we are satisfying our senses and we are not looking at the soul, right? So until that, there'll be no satisfaction. So that person who has given up the sense desire, he finds the satisfaction. He is said to be in pure consciousness. So this is he was so fearless, Prahlad Maharaj. And Prabhupada. So Prabhupada in Vrindavan. So he, like before his movement started, say there was so much struggle, but he never lost hope. He always, why he was so calm? Because he had faith on his spiritual master. So he had said that he has to go to West, and he was always thinking how he can spread this movement in West. How can a supposedly harmless contemplation turn into an insatiable lust and anger and cause one's fall down? So now there is a six, in six ways, 6 steps a person can fall down. So we understand that in 2 shlokas. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasto upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bijayate. While contemplating on the objects of senses, a person develop attachment from them for them, and from attachment lust develop, and from lust anger arises. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha sammoha smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshat buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again to mental pool. So we can understand this with the. So we can understand here. So what happens when first there is an object of senses? We desire for something from sense object, right? That time we don't understand that what harm it is going to cause us, right? So what happens when you desire for some sense object, we get attached. So we get attachment. So when you desire for it, the attachment develops, and from attachment, lust develops, and the lust can lead to anger. When the lust is not fulfilled, it turns into anger. So anger, from when there is anger, the person comes into delusion. That is, he is in a position, he is not able to bifurcate what is right for him, what is wrong for him. He is in a delusion, and then from delusion what happens? Bewilderment of memory, and from bewilderment of memory he loses the loss of intelligence, and finally the person falls down. So all this happened with the one thing. So we think, what will happen if I can desire for some sense object? So we never understand. So it will grow into like whatever the sins happens, like there are criminal, we see so many crimes happening. So everything starts with a desire. So when a desire is there for sense object, and then it gradually takes all the steps, and then finally the person falls down. So nobody becomes a murderer, right, in a one day, or a thief. How does he become? Everything starts with uh, a desire, a sinful desire, and then attachment. So everything, the person finally falls down. He loses intelligence and falls down. So how can we come out of it? Krishna says, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjyam rasopyasya param društva nivartate. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment through the taste for sense object remains, but ceasing such engagement by experiencing a higher test, he is fixed in consciousness. Because we are embodied soul, embodied soul means we are getting this body. Either we can be the human body or animal body, but we are having this body. The soul is getting a body from millions of life. So it is called embodied soul. It is like embodied means something is attached to the soul, right? It is not as it is. So the soul is having a body. So that body, when it is coming into this material world, we get, when the three material of mode of nature, when it is getting in touch with material nature, it gets the it feels like it develops the false ego, and then he identifies himself with the body. We start identifying ourselves with the body, and then we start to think that I have to satisfy my bodily needs, and then I want to enjoy the senses. Whatever my sense asks, I want to satisfy it. But here Krishna is telling, when he has to restrict, we have to put restriction on ourselves, on our sense enjoyment. So how does it happen? So slowly we have to start feeding the soul. So feeding the soul, how? Like we are all here to learn Bhagavad Gita and listen more about the transcendental or the pastimes of the Lord, and like get chanting the Lord's name. So what will happen? Slowly the person, how is the person in a spiritual line also? They have the taste for it. Otherwise you can't sustain for a long time. So then slowly the person develop taste for it, and then he will be fixed in consciousness. So this is a summary. So the 5 reasons Arjuna gave: compassion, Krishna says we are not the body. So no enjoyment, Krishna says heaven or kingdom. And fear of sinful activities, the Lord says devotional activity, no sin. Destruction of family tradition, the Lord says be a role model to prevent Varna Shankara. Indecision, serve the Lord with firm decision, firm determination. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hope every one of you are taking the. There is no problem in taking the quiz. There's no problem in. You have all taken the chapter 1.
Yes.
All of you have taken. Okay, good. Anybody finding difficulty in taking quiz? Anyone have any difficulty in taking the quiz? Hare Krishna.
Yes, I am finding. I can't find the quiz.
You are not finding the quiz?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just quickly show you how you can go. Okay, okay, I'll just show you one second. Okay, you know the website iskonmangaluru.com. Okay. Okay. So when you come to this page, you have here register. Okay. And then have you registered Santosh Suri, right? You
Yes,
said
I have.
you have registered already. Okay. So you can come here directly also, right? Okay. You can come to the quiz. The hand. Is it not open? Why is it not open? I have some issues, seems like it's not opening.
Your microphone is unmuted, no?
Okay, now it has opened. You can see, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to, so you are in the level 1. So 18 days quiz, and then you go here. Others kindly mute. Some disturbance. And it's taking long time than usual. I don't know. Maybe I think many are using the website.
Try again. I'll try again. No problem.
Yeah, you can try. Okay, now it opened.
Till I have problem, I'll let you know.
Yeah, you can just log in, Mataji. It is not, I mean, it is not difficult. I think now maybe many people are using. That is why it is not opening very fast.
Maybe. Yes.
Yeah, the website seems to be down.
No problem.
You can, yeah. We have posted the link also in the group. That it's quiz links.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's very slow. I don't know.
I think that should help me.
Yeah. Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay. Anyone has any questions?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I would like to know subtle difference between what is spirit, what is soul, what is spirit soul.
Yeah.
Spirit, soul, and soul is both same. Yeah, we call
Why-
it soul as a spirit soul. It is same soul. It's just soul.
Soul means Atma.
Atma, yes.
Spirit means
No, it is the same thing, Prabhuji. It is
Atma.
just the same. Only the soul. Okay. We just have soul. Its soul is called a spirit soul.
Okay.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
It must be like
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Have any question? Any question from the today's chapter? Anyone has any doubt on any slide? Because it's a big chapter, I had to run very fast. Okay. because of the time constraint. Yes, no questions?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
How to handle the disappointment, Mataji, when we have a desire? So if it doesn't fulfill, then we will get a disappointment, and our physiology, everything will be changed in the sense.
Yeah, that is why it is said, na, desiring is also like desire is always ending with disappointment only. When we are, I mean, there is everything. There is a starting and ending, right? I mean, you are desiring when our desires are for our satisfying our senses, then there is always a disappointment is always there. So we cannot avoid that. So we have to purify our desires. We need to purify our desires. Then there won't be a disappointment.
By chanting Hare Rama, Hare Krishna mantra.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Because now we are like more our focusing on satisfying our senses. But then when we satisfy Krishna's senses, because he's called as Rishikesha, he's a master of senses and mind. So when we satisfy his senses, automatically we are also happy, right? We also become happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Again, that is also a sort of desire only, na Mataji. Why? Because we are chanting and we are doing the activity by satisfying
see,
the Lord Krishna.
Yeah, but we may start for some, but we may start it, but then slowly it will clear our all dirt. It will, like in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, like the Hare Krishna mantra cleanses our heart from all dirt. Like Cheto Darpana Marjanam, he says. Cheto Darpana Marjanam means it clarifies. I mean, for millions of lives we have taken, and there are so much of dirt accumulated in our heart. But that will be slowly, it will go. Then we may do artificially now, but the mantra is so powerful that it cleanses us.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, no more questions. Okay, shall we close then? Okay. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrindi ki jai, Namacharya Das Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, everyone. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.